No matter where you live in the Tri-County area, the land you call home has burned in the past. Wildfire is a natural part of our landscape, and understanding its role, as well as your risk, is the first step toward living safely in a fire-prone environment. The fires that moved through this landscape historically were lighter intensity fires that tended to reside down near the forest floor, meaning they moved through the forest, they consumed seedlings, saplings, brush. They would move a little ways up, burn some of the lower branches, but it was a lighter intensity fire that was very beneficial to the forest. The big change we saw coming about in the mid-1850s was the arrival of European settlement, and they started to suppress natural and human-caused fires, taking fire out of the ecosystem. In the absence of naturally occurring fires throughout the Rocky Mountain West, we've seen a congestion of our forest. We have far too many trees, we have far too much undergrowth, and what this allows fires to do is go from the forest floor and climb up the trees and creating fires that are very difficult to suppress. We've definitely seen the average size of our wildfires that escape containment grow, and they've grown into fires that are oftentimes thousands of acres in size. The devastation that these fires do as they move through the landscape is so far beyond what we have seen in a natural forest ecosystem. We've certainly seen more homes built over the last few decades in what we call the wildland-urban interface zone, which is that zone where you have residences occurring in the forest. That home became a component of the forest fuel situation. As a wildfire approaches that home, it's vulnerable to ignition. The landowner has to implement land management practices that remove that fuel from the landscape.
We've been here for just a hair over 30 years now. We've worked hard to get it put together what we have now. And if we can prevent a fire coming through and taking it all away in an hour, I think it's just kind of a no-brainer on our end.
Tri-County Firesafe Working Group partners with property owners in Broadwater, Jefferson, and Lewis and Clark counties to increase wildfire resilience through public education and cost share mitigation projects. Tri-County Firesafe Working Group offers assessments, which are free. The first step you need to take is to go to the website, fill out the application. One of the fuel mitigation specialists will make contact with you and set up a date and time to come out to your property and do an assessment. The assessment consists of looking at a multitude of things, everything from the gutters, the roof material, the siding material, plants that you have growing in your yard. Because most homes do burn down due to ember intrusion, it's not direct flame impingement. We have to look at the little things, and the little things are what can catch you off guard. The one thing we have to remember is the assessment is the overall assessment of that home ignition zone. That's the 200 feet around the home. That 200 feet is broke down into different zones. We start with the structure. From there, we go out to 5 feet. We would prefer there is no flammable materials within that zone. From there, the next zone is out to 30 feet and then out to 100 plus, up to 200. Once this is completed, you receive an email with this. It's about a 24-page document. If you chose not to go any further in the program, you have a free assessment with recommendations to improve your home and property on your own. There are portions of this that can fall under our grant program. We'll work with you on developing a plan. You go out and get a contractor to bid the work based on that plan. The homeowner then pays the contractor the full amount. Once that has been completed and the homeowner shows us that the contractor has been paid, then they submit a request for reimbursement, which we then can reimburse them up to 75% of that total cost.
A portion of this project with Tri-County overlaps into a neighbor's property. So I've been in contact with them to get a waiver that they can go onto their property and cut. They were real happy about it. And in fact, it motivated them to talk to Tri-County to get their portion done.
This particular project, we're looking at removal of trees through thinning and spacing. So we can leave some of those trees in particular spots as long as they have the proper spacing. We'll also look at limbing. Anything under 20 feet is limbed up 1/3. Anything over 20 feet is limbed up 6 to 10 feet. Our whole goal here is to keep fire on the ground. Working together, sharing the responsibility and reducing the impacts of fire is our goal.
As a fire chief, I've seen firsthand how fire mitigation works. Something that I've noticed on properties that have been mitigated versus properties that have not been mitigated, it's quicker for us to extinguish fire on a property that's been mitigated. It requires fewer of our resources. Property that's been mitigated gives us the space and the security to effectively put it out. And there's a lot less damage that's done to the property. When we're out operating on fire, as soon as it's going to impact homes, people, or our own safety, we start thinking about evacuation. We work with our partners at the Sheriff's Office to get those notifications out. A big wildfire is very chaotic. There are a lot of phone calls going on. There are a lot of people trying to get a hold of one another. Traffic can be a nightmare. Having a plan in place beforehand about how you're going to get a hold of family, where you're going to meet them, where you're going to go if you're going to be evacuated, just so that you don't have to make those decisions on the fly, can mean a lot. Evacuations, kind of by their very nature, are unexpected. But I recommend to people just pack for something that you would expect, a weekend away, and just have something ready. And we don't know where these fires are going to be or necessarily which direction they're going to head. And so having multiple different ways to get out of your property safely is very important. One of the most important ways we have of getting a hold of somebody during an evacuation is emergency alert systems. Each county has one, so if you get onto your county's emergency management webpage, you can sign up and it gets you more information during an emergency.
It's not if there's going to be a fire, it's when there's going to be a fire. I'm very pleased. It turned out to be better than what I thought. Right now it looks kind of messy with all these piles. They'll be burned in January. Clean it up, it'll make a huge difference. Makes me sleep a little better at night. Working with Tri-County, piece of cake. Everything was very easy to deal with.
We are at the Montana City Public Firewise Demonstration Garden. It's at the Montana City Fire Department. We have a lot of different plants here. They all have Firewise characteristics, so they're just a very effective way to use vegetation that is not flammable. They're very common plants, easily gotten from our local nurseries, and they're very hardy. We have over 100 species out here. These plants are probably most important within the 0 to 30 foot zone of your home and very important in the 0 to 5 foot. If you're going to have anything at all, please take a Firewise plant that is not flammable. They'll stay in place and they'll burn up and they're not going to carry fire into the home. Don't plant juniper, please. It's like having a can of kerosene in front of your house and you really need to get them away from your house. Don't plant them anywhere near it, preferably nowhere on your property. You can go to our website where we have a database that lists each plant individually, tells you its characteristics for every single plant that we have out here. A homeowner needs to come to this garden to see how beautiful our local plants can be. This is a low budget, beautiful way to make your home more safe.
Wildfire is just a part of living in Montana. But with the right steps, it doesn't have to be a disaster. From smart landscaping to evacuation planning, you can live safely with fire. Contact Tri-County Firesafe Working Group to learn how you can reduce your risk and create ignition-resistant space. If not now, when?